We are going to work through 3 examples today, which are going to look at application problems of Pythagoras' theorem. Now, there's lots of different types of application problems. We're just going to go through 3. But the main thing that you need to know is that pictures are really good, but also sometimes the answer isn't quite there as soon as you look at it. So you've got to problem solve, stare at it a bit, read the question again, and make sure you haven't missed any information. Okay, let's get started on this first example. So the sign says keep off the grass. Each day Michael has to get from one corner of the rectangular area of grass to the opposite corner. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. If the park keeper is looking, he will walk along the edges, but if the park keeper is not looking, he will take the direct route diagonally across the rectangle. How much further does Michael walk on the days when the park keeper is looking? The length of the rectangular area of grass is 135 metres and its width is 82. Give your answer to the nearest metre. Okay, so a lot of that was just words, but I've underlined the most important bits, and you might need to read through a question a couple of times to pick up on those important pieces. So those two sides are 135, these two sides are 82 metres, and we want to know firstly that horizontal distance, but that's not the answer to what we're being asked to find. We've then got to find the difference compared to Michael walking around the outside edge to get from one corner to the other. So a lot of the time these questions, as I said, they've got two very distinct parts to them. Okay, so I'm going to find the diagonal first. So the diagonal is going to use this triangle here where we've got 135 metres and 82 metres. And this would be our right angle, which means this is our C value. So I'm going to be using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And let's label, this is our A, this is our B. So 135 squared plus 82 squared equals c squared. If I add these two together and square them, I get 24,949 equals c squared. And then I'm going to undo that square by square rooting, and I get c is equal to 157.95. So don't be tempted to then go to the back of the book and go, oh, I've got the answer. Actually look at what it's asking for. So we're asked how much further does Michael walk on the days when the park keeper is looking. So we know when the park keeper is looking that he is going to walk 82 plus 135. So if he walks along the perimeter, 82 plus 135, that is going to give us 217 metres. So the real thing we're being asked to find is the difference between those two. So the difference is 217 minus 157.95, and that equals 59.05, which is approximately 59 metres to the nearest metre. So in this example, we've got an aeroplane taking off. It's going up, it's levelling out, and then it goes back down, it lands. So this is its starting point and this is the ending point. We want to know the horizontal distance from the plane's starting point to the finishing position, and we need to round our answer to 1 decimal place. So what we're being asked to find is what's this whole distance? I'm just going to quickly write out an expression to help us with that. So I need to figure out what x is. I know that middle portion is 3, and then I need to figure out what y is. Now I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, this is 3 and this is 5. If you remember when we had a quick look at the triads in the first starter lesson with this topic, you'll remember that x must be 4 to form that triad. But we can quickly go ahead and check that by going 5 squared is 25 minus, because we have the hypotenuse, 3 squared is 16, and then the square root of 16 is 4. 3, 4, 5 is probably the most famous triad. So I know that that's 4 plus 3. I just need to figure out why. So I'm taking out that triangle to make it easier to see what I'm working with. And I can see already that I'm working with a case 2, which is going to be a squared is equal to c squared minus b squared. Going to label my triangle C, B, A. So y squared is equal to 7 squared minus 3 squared, which is equal to 40. And then we're going to square root both sides. Y equals 6.32. And so now I know why that is not my answer, because that's just this portion here. I need to add it to the rest of them. So 4 plus 3 plus 6.32 is going to give me 13.32 kilometers. And we want the answer to one decimal place, so 13.3. So always go back and check your decimal places. It's a very easy way on a test to lose marks, so make sure you go back and check. The last example we're going to do looks like it's got some 3D stuff in it, but really we can break it down so it's two-dimensional. We've got a drinking straw that sits diagonally in a glass, which has a radius of 3 centimeters. So I'm going to draw that radius on, remembering that the radius is not the whole way across, it's half of the way across. So 3 centimeters from the midpoint out to the circumference of the circle. And it's got a height, if I can spell height, height of 10 centimeters. Okay, and we want to know what length of the straw protrudes from the glass. So like all these questions we've been doing, we're not just going to do some calculation and that's the final answer. They're asking you to think a bit further and to think a bit more critically. Okay, so I'm going to draw out my triangle. First step. Now we know if this is the straw, that's going to protrude or come out of the glass some way. So I'm just going to look at the straw from here to here and call this X, and then 10 centimeters, and then this length here is going to be 6, so 3 times 2, so the whole diameter. Okay, this is a case 1 because I'm trying to figure out the hypotenuse. So I've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This is my c, this is my a and b. Doesn't matter which one's your a or your b in this case. So 10 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared, 136. So we're going to take the square root of 136 to get c. Hopefully you're able to skip between this line straight to this line now. And that equals 11.66 equals c. So our straw was 20 centimeters long, and we know that 11.66 is sitting in the glass. So to figure out how much is protruding from the glass, so we know that this bit here is 11.66, oh, 66 to from here to here. So this bit here is going to be given by 20 minus 11.66, and that equals 8.34 centimeters. We want that to one decimal place, so 8.3 centimeters protrudes from the glass. Wonderful.